So the new cabinet includes 75 members, as we mentioned, from a number of political parties who form part of this government of national unity. Today's swearing-in ceremony will be presided over by the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo at the Cape Town International Convention Centre. That's where we find our Abra Barbier, who's been watching the build-up to the swearing-in ceremony and joins us now live. Abra, you've been able to spot some of these members of the executive who are likely to take their oath in just over an hour.
Ayanda, good morning. Yes, I'm standing by like a hawk, trying to spot as many of the new members of the executive as possible. And luckily, I got the new Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy, the DA's Ms. Samantha Graham. Ma'am, thank you so much for being with us today, and congratulations on your appointment. As recently as April, you called on the Minister of Electricity to be honest about the load shedding situation. Now you find yourself in the very same portfolio as him. How are these dynamics going to play out?
Look, I think from the get-go, I've always had huge respect for Dr. Ramaphosa. I worked with him when I was on Public Works and he was the head of Infrastructure South Africa. So I know the kind of work that he does. And certainly he has proven himself, irrespective of what we've called him out on, he has proven himself. We're nearing 100 days without load shedding. There have been no indications that there's been anything nefarious. And it appears as though that Eskom have managed to get the electricity availability factor up. Now that I'm on the other side, I'll have an opportunity to actually find out what is going on and make sure that we get the answers that we've been asking for so long. So I think there's a different dynamic in that respect, is that we will have access to answers without having to keep asking for them. And I'm looking forward to working with him. I think we're going to have a great amount of energy in this portfolio. We get along very well. I think it's going to be a very cheerful portfolio because both of us seem to enjoy people, enjoy interacting. So I'm really excited for what we can do to bring about change in this new portfolio.
Hopefully a great amount of energy and electricity going forward. Deputy Minister, the question about whether DA members of the executive are going to be using the blue lights and all the other perks that the party's always denounced, how is that going to play out?
Well, our Public Works Minister has already issued a directive that there'll be no new properties bought, there'll be no new offices, and ours is a brand new portfolio. We're going to have to find offices, and I'm perfectly happy. I would be happy to stay wherever, as long as we've got accommodation so that we can do our jobs. I'm certainly not somebody, I arrived here in my Renault Kwid this morning, I'm not somebody who believes that we need to have luxury. As long as we have all the necessities to function and operate effectively, I certainly would be far happier not having blue light brigades and all the perks that go with that.
Before I let you go, ma'am, an analyst I spoke to earlier in the week, she actually said that one of the positives, no matter what your stance on the GNU is, one of the positives is that traditionally opposition party MPs who are now part of the executive now have more access to information, and that is a good way of ensuring accountability. This is something you agree with?
Oh, absolutely. As I said earlier, if we've got the information that we need, it makes it so much easier for us to understand what is happening, to do the oversight that is required, to ensure that there's proper accountability and ensure that there is no corruption happening, particularly when you're dealing with something like Eskom. I mean, part of my concern around why we suddenly don't have load shedding is because there's no more sabotage. So once we can get into those environments and we can make the inquiries that we need to make, we will have a better understanding of where we are at, and we will have a better understanding of how we can take the country forward.
Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time and enjoy the swearing in today. That was Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy saying that she's looking forward to working with Dr. Ramaphosa in this portfolio, saying she has huge amounts of respect for him, but she would also like to get to the bottom of what went on behind the scenes in terms of the load shedding, suggesting that there might have been lots of sabotage going on. Ayanda, that's her for now. I don't see anybody else, but as soon as I do catch up with another new member of the executive, I will get back to you.
Before we let you go, though, Abra, as I mentioned, that swearing-in ceremony is set to kick off at 11 o'clock. Perhaps just give us a sense of the state of readiness from your vantage point to pull this off.
Look, I obviously got here very early this morning and it was quiet, but as time goes by, things are picking up. We have the presidency's VIP police, we have President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration people, we have emergency crews on the ground, loads of media starting to, come in and vie for vantage spaces from which to film. So as things stand, everything seems to be on track. I did see the dry runs earlier, and the presidency seems to be quite satisfied, as they're going about just checking out everything. I was told that we can start expecting ministers to arrive from, what's the time now? It's 9:15. I was told we can start expecting them from about 9:30. We have a red carpet, so we'll be trying to grab them here on the red carpet as they head into the chamber where they will be sworn in. Ayanda?
Right, Abra Barbier, thanks very much indeed. It's going to be a busy morning, and this is certainly the first of many of our discussions. For now, Abra Barbier, live to us from the Cape Town International Convention Centre. Thanks once again.